Hello again, Arcade1up fans. Brian here, and this is going to be my second video in a series that I'm doing showing all of the cosmetic mods I make to my Arcade1up cabinets. The next in this series is the Killer Instinct arcade cabinet from Arcade1up, and in this video I'll be showing you all the little extra details that Arcade1up seems to always forget to do, or they don't have the licensing to use certain logos. So a lot of my motivation from buying these cabinets is I've developed this hobby on seeking out these decals and graphics and changing out everything from buttons to joysticks just to make the cabinet look even more like the original. It's becoming a really fun addiction. I love it. I know a lot of other people out there are the same as me. So I'm going to get right into the video. If you do like this video, please hit the subscribe button, make any comments that you like, and I will also make sure to post where I bought the graphics, decals, and things like that in the description below. Without further ado, let's get started. Right off the bat for this cabinet, you can see that the one thing that pops out right away is the Marquee. The original Killer Instinct Marquee is missing quite a few things. You'll see on yours, if you haven't done these mods already, your Marquee only has the Killer Instinct logo. And honestly, I didn't think the Marquee looked too bad, just a little faded, but the blacks on the original Marquee is definitely a little more faded. I unfortunately have a big light right here that's shining on this thing, so it's kind of getting in the way of the lighting. That makes it look a little better there. You can see that the details of it stand out much better. Hopefully that can help a little bit more. Deeper blacks, looks great in person, very bright, nice quality. This Marquee is from Retro 530, and actually this is the 3D printed Marquee that he made, where it's actually in a bezel that was 3D printed. All comes as one piece, no installation required. You can see here, top piece fits in nice into the H panel on top. Has the same groove in the back, it slides in. And it has a nice thin bezel around it. At first, I wasn't sure I was going to like the thin bezel because all the other arcade cabinets for Arcade1up has no bezel at all around them. But now they seem to be going to this new route with the new type of Marquees, like the Terminator one here with the bezel, and the new MK30th cabinet, and also the big blue cabinet. So this little thin bezel definitely adds some more originality to it. And everything on this Marquee has the missing decals, the Rare logo, the Midway, the DCS sound. It looks fantastic. Nintendo. Gotta have the Nintendo. And the copyright. And this definitely, you can see the quality. Very crystal clear. And the only thing that you do have to change out, if you do decide to go with Retro 530's 3D printed Marquee, you will just have to change out the squares, which he does provide. It's gives you, did I say squares? Sorry about that. Screws. And you don't have to use the original screws that Arcade1up gives you. You replace them with those because they fit in a different threading that he made for this specific 3D printed Marquee. And as you can see on the bottom, it all sits flush to the speaker panel, just like a regular Arcade1up Marquee. So, and I also do know that I believe Retro 530 also just sells the Marquee itself, so that can stick to the original Marquee, which I've done in the past with some other Arcade1ups. You just take a hair dryer or a heat gun, and you can blow it right on that original Marquee. It'll peel right off, and you can apply a new one. So moving on from there, let's go over to the side panel. Side panel is also missing some very important key details. Now they did fit vinyl on here pretty well. You can see here. One thing that is wrong in this though, I never realized it until after it was purchased and looking at details, but is the Killer Instinct. It's not the correct style of writing. It looks fun, but it's more of the updated version, I feel like, from Killer Instinct 3 maybe. I do really wish the original writing was on there. Honestly, the only way to replace that would be to get an entirely new graphic. I just didn't feel like spending all that money right now, but I do know of one company, XL Arcade. he does sell the full graphic, and you can also get KI2 full graphics. Which got me thinking it'd be really fun to buy a second cabinet of this and make a KI2 cabinet. But you will see on here that there are some other logos on here that you won't see on your cabinet. First off, the Nintendo logo, which was originally on the arcade cabinet. And below here, the missing Midway logo was also added right below the rareware. They're both these images are in the exact same spot like the original arcade. I tried to do my best for the size-wise for what I picked, but this is the placement where it is on the original cabinet. It lines up right here with the shield. Might be just a little off, but that's the best you can get it for the size of this logo. The Midway logo down below does fit perfectly. You will notice a line here above the Midway. At first when I applied these stickers, I was going to cut out like in between the Y and the W and the D, which now I still might go and maybe do it by hand on the wall. I don't know, but it's not a big deal. It's not like I'm looking down here all the time. But you can see it's a great size reference to the rareware. It is covering up a screw hole that's right here. So if you ever need to take the cab apart, unfortunately I'm going to have to poke a hole through that. It's the only thing that sucks about that, but not the end of the world. If I ever happen to take this thing apart again, I'll just paint the screw red, blend it in. Should be fine. Or just buy a new sticker. But I really wanted to have those cabs on these decals on this cabinet. Brings the side panels together much more like the original. So those were added on. I will say though, I don't know why they went back to their original idea where the sword, the screw hole is over it. And they redid the design over a year ago now. They made this fit. They scrunched down Spinal much more. You can see how his hand is a little cut off here. You know, all these things you don't see in the beginning when they announce these cabinets. Sometimes Arcade1up does it way off. Then they do like a new rendering and it's perfect. And then they change it up again. You know, they had all Spinal fitting in it before. They still did have the wrong Killer Instinct lettering. But that's not the end of the world. Left and right are all black. I like it fading in to the black here. I like the rare. Sorry about my finger. I like the rare logo here at the bottom. Now I was going to put a whole new black graphic all on this to cover up the KI2 logos and Bezel logos, but honestly I don't think they're too bad. I left them. They're very subtle. It doesn't take too much away from the cabinet. So I wouldn't even waste time covering up. It's nice and glossy. It looks pretty good. I like my Terminator 2 cabinet. When I add on a coin door, I also add on the Retro 530 coin door lights. Same thing. You gotta drill 2 holes into the kick plate. Just use the LED bulb casing as a reference for your drill bit. And just make sure you use a ruler just to line up so they're directly behind the light up button areas. Pop them, they sit right in. I use a little masking tape to hold them in place. And that works out great. They light up, makes the coin door come to life. I did forget to say that the Nintendo logos here and the Midway are from 2 different companies. That company I mentioned about XL Arcade, who does have a full graphic of this, he provided me with the Midway logos. I messaged him through the Facebook group and asked him if he can make these up, and he did them separately for me. I think they're about $15 for the pair. Now the Nintendo logos is from Sasbo's Arcade, and his provided 2 Nintendo logos and a new kick plate logo. The original kick plate had this newer Killer Instinct writing, which I did not like, so it's nice to have the original style here. This correlates really well with the Marquee writing. It's so crazy how they use that writing for the Marquee, even the original one, but then they go with this in the side panel. Like, it seems sloppy to me. Anyway, that kick plate, just peel and stick it right on. I actually just flipped this so I still have the original on the other side. There's really no cutting involved. It fits just right. So I didn't have to trim or anything. That was nice, not having to deal with trimming. And I like that. Moving on to the next cosmetic mods. This one was a really fun project. I couldn't wait to do this one. The control panel. This control panel was missing a lot. I really do not care for the light up LED lights with the white outlining. I'd rather get a new plexi without this, but I'm wondering maybe I can rub this white off from the other side, because when you touch the other side, there's like a little raise and you can see it. I think it could probably be cleaned or scrubbed off, and it'll just not hide all this artwork under here around the joysticks. But you'll notice here that there's a few things that I've added on. We have the Killer Instinct writing here at the bottom. I added on the Rareware logo. I've added on the Midway logo, which is supposed to be in the top right corner. And I've also added on the Nintendo logo. The sizes came out perfect. How did I achieve this effect? Well, same thing that I did with my T2 cabinet in my other video, where I added on the Terminator 2 Judgment Day writing here on top of the control panel. If you did watch that video, check it out. It's awesome. All the cosmetic mods I made to the Terminator 2 cabinet. But for anybody else that's here again, if you remember, I went to arcade1up.com and bought one of his Marquee's graphics, the non-transparent ones. Now I'll say again, his Marquee graphics tend to run a little smaller, like he shrinks everything down. So again, I was thinking, you know what, I think the writing will be just the right size to fit the stuff on the control panel, and as you can see, it worked out beautiful. I just used a hobby knife, and I just painstakingly went in. You can see my outlining. I cut each individual out. I cut out a full strip here and one here as individual letters, instead of doing it one by one as one long strip. Cut out the Nintendo logo, cut out the Middleway logo, and where the Rare logo was. And I just basically applied them right onto the control panel. You'll see. The only thing, I mean, it's a little off. The iller part should be more in the middle here, but you can see there's no room. I'll be covering up low attack. Same with the Instinct. This should be more around here. But I mean, it works great. And this one, instead of that Midway logo where I didn't cut between the layers, this one you had to. I just used that hobby knife. It's pretty easy. Nice clean cuts, as long as you have a very sharp blade. And I have a nice cutting mat, which I have here. Nice hobby cutting mat, works pretty well. Same thing I did with the Nintendo logo. Now the inside Nintendo logo is not cut out. That you can leave. All you have to do is just cut around it. Perfect fit. As you can see, the size, perfect size reference to the original. Plenty of room, and the Midway logo. And I placed them as best I could, right across from one another. The only thing that's missing here, which I didn't know before, I guess there's a shadow you see just under the letters, where it makes it look like the letters are floating above the panel. It's a really neat effect, and I never knew that was there. This hobby has made me stare at the original arcade cabinets, and you just see so many things that you missed before that Arcade1up doesn't pay attention to, or just chose not to follow all that detail. I don't know. So now I'm thinking maybe I'll find like a gray marker. They do make like shadow markers that I can outline just around the edges to get that same effect. We'll see. Could be something fun. There's the Rare logo. Looks pretty nice. Again, perfect size. Fits right in that corner just like the original. And you can see that graphically, the only thing that's off about this control panel graphic is I wish these gold circles look like drill bits were down here in the middle. Would I replace those? Yeah, maybe, but they're fine where they are. That is it for all the graphics I added to this cabinet. Now a couple hardware things I added, not a whole lot here. You'll see I replaced the two black tops with the proper blue tops. These blue tops are from Amazon.com, and the blue matches just right with these blue buttons, even though these blue buttons are the wrong color for the whole cabinet. I'm still using original stock controls. I'm just going to use them until they wear out before I upgrade to IL sticks or anything like that. Not really necessary at the moment. And these ones are a little more stiffer and play really well, you know, for the time being. But that blue is really throwing me. As you can see, the blue doesn't match the writing of the Killer Instinct. It's more of a baby light blue. But it's nice to have the matching joysticks. I did put on, I had some extra Sanwa dust covers from Sanwa joysticks I bought for other cabinets. And I noticed these do not scratch up the plexi around it. So if anybody doesn't like how the plexi gets scratched by these from the Arcade1up cheaper plastic ones, buy some Sanwa ones. They're clean. They keep your plexi untouched, unscratched. I replaced the, I think it was a yellow button for the live button. I don't want that big yellow button sticking out because it's distracting from the goldish yellow bolt looking thing here. So I replaced it with a black button from my Tempest cabinet because I got a whole new control panel for that. And then I used the black Sharpie once again. I think you could see it. Somewhere up here was the live logo, that bright yellow live logo. So I colored all that in, just like I did with my T2 cabinet. Got rid of that. And lastly, sound upgrade. Not really a cosmetic detail, but as all my other cabs that deserve great sound, I highly recommend installing the Z13 Logitech subwoofer. Here is the volume dongle. And again, I just drill or cut out a little notch here in the back of the panel so I can run the dongle wire inside, keep it all nice and clean. And down here at the bottom, I cut the little notch for the power cord of the subwoofer itself. It runs out. And you get great sound. Just plug the stock speakers into the back of the subwoofer and plug the volume dongle wire from the Z13 into the PCB. Great sound. A lot of bass for this cabinet. Makes it sound awesome, like the original cabinet. So that is it for my cosmetic mods on this cabinet. You can also see here on the sides I got the Nintendo and the Midway logos as well. And I think you can get a full look here with those logos on there. Do a little angle here. A little dark, sorry, but there is going to be one more mod I might try to do to this cabinet, and that involves the control panel. As for now, this is great. I put all this work into it, and I was like, oh, am I going to replace it? The one thing I don't like about this new design cab is how high the control panel is. I feel like I have T-Rex arms. It's like 41 inches high versus the original, like, 37.5, I think, or 36 length height that their Arcade1up cabinets started with, which is the proper height for these Midway cabinets. The Midway cabinets sit around 36 inches high, like the Big Blue. That is the correct height of the arcade cabinets. So I was thinking, taking a jigsaw and a router, I may go in and cut at an angle here to drop this down to around that 37 mark, around this way, which will make this look a little more, and then I'll angle this control panel down. But the problem with that is it's going to create a gap in between here and the screen if I want this to be more flush with the front. But what I've learned is if I did cut the sides, these angles cutting down, and you can see where my line, it doesn't need to come up much off. I basically make it like the original Gen 3 cabinets using those control panels, which would sit on here just right, filling up the gap in the back and being long enough to make it flush in the front. So that may be a mod coming one day if I want to go through with it. I don't know. That means I have to actually get a full graphic, but then I'll have everything in place. The gold bolts will be down the right place, so forth. The KI will be more properly aligned. But this does a great job. You know, it looks very nice. And honestly, when I was talking about between the control panel and screen, I forgot the very last cosmetic mod I made to this. And you'll notice that around the monitor, you're going to see a bezel that looks like a TV monitor bezel from the original arcade. All the way around. I really wanted this thing. A lot of these Midway cabinets just had a black outline. Some of them, like NBA Jam, The Konami 4-player Turtles had this same type of frame. You know, and other cabinets did have details around it. This is all plexi. It's reverse printed, and this is from Sazbo's Arcade as well. And he had to kind of custom make it because the screen was slightly lower than the other one, but it gives it that appearance like it's an old TV monitor that's sitting in the cabinet. See if I can get better lighting here. Kind of get that effect right there. All that bright highlights you're seeing on it, that's all printed on to give that effect, and then you got the shades around it. That gives it a really great look. Funny thing is though, whenever I'm playing in the dark, or if I got like my LED lights on or something, I can't even see this bezel. So, but when you got the lights on, it looks awesome. And it really brings the whole cabinet together, give it more of that original look. So there's the whole look again. Give you one last look at the mods, and we're gonna end the video there. Sorry if my video today, I noticed my finger was in the camera view a couple of times. But I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions for me, please leave a comment. Again, I will post links of all the places where I bought the graphics and the plexi will be in the description. Take a look. And always thank you for watching. If you did like this video, please hit subscribe, leave a comment, and you all have a great day. Thanks so much.